He came from the depths of hell to wreak havoc on all who crossed his path.
What's up, everybody? It is January 18th, Monday. It's close to 7 p.m., and we are in the St. John studios, and it is the jonguitar. I can't believe I'm still doing this podcast. And I love radio, and I love broadcasting, and I love putting this show on for you guys, so hopefully you dig it, and thanks for listening. Here's the intro. You guys getting ready for it?
You know, I'm slowly starting to really hate any type of intros on podcasts. Like, what's the point of it?
Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
I'm preparing to make a killing. When life gives you phlegm, you make lemonade.
Okay, that color is mine. I'm the gem. I sparkle and shine.
Still terrible, but a different kind of terrible. I get it. We will argue later.
The shit's chess, it ain't checkers.
It's refund season.
This is a nightmare.
Nothing means nothing.
Okay, you have to come on our show.
And thank you guys so much. Oh, yes, thank you so much. It is great to hear you. Oh, thank you. And in the background, you hear a little... Oh, thank you, please. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, thank you. Holy moly. Guys, can we... Okay, quiet down, everybody. Quiet down. Can we quiet it down? Oh, thank you so much. Okay, whoa, still applauding. Holy jeez. Let's cut it out. Cut it out. I'm getting bashful up here. I'm turning red. And in the... Oh, gosh. You guys gonna let me talk? Well, I guess that's it, everybody. Thank you for the show, and that's the longest clap we've ever had on the show. Holy moly. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, gosh. Oh, thank you. Yes. And, okay, it sounds like they're done, everybody. So, what's going on? Got a busy show today, and this is jonguitar's News and Entertainment Quick and Fast Podcast Blast. I still can't believe I'm doing this show. Just kidding. No, I love doing the show for you guys, so... Hopefully you like listening to it, and we'll bring you some cool stuff every week. And thanks for listening. We appreciate it. So coming up in the show, we have some Facebook, some Walmart updates. We have a famous interview with Charlie Chaplin and some upcoming news. So hope you guys stay tuned. This is a song by Joe Satriani. In case you haven't heard it in a while, Joe Satriani rocks. It's called Ceremony. So this weekend was Saturday, and I listen to a bunch of different radio stations, and one of the ones that I listen to all the time is Mancow, and he gives away these prizes, I know, if you call in and stuff. And I could play you guys a famous call. I will do it later, but not that important. You know, you could listen to a show and hear me on there occasionally, but he actually, we won tickets to go to a restaurant and then a concert, and the concert was for Die Hard movie trivia, because recently the passing of Alan Rickman, you know, they were highlighting this Die Hard trivia, so we won tickets to go to the Home Run Inn, $50 gift card for free grub. So Mary and I had pizza and wings. So pizza and wings were great. And we right when we got there, the pizza popped out and the wings were there. They had the ranch sauce. We tried a peppermint porter beer. I don't know if you had that, but it's kind of a darker beer. Not as thick, but it's a dark beer. And it was good. I mean, the volume of alcohol by content, you would get ripped after one or two drinks if you're a light drinker like myself and or Mary. And Mary being a light drinker because she had, you know, recently given birth to our baby. And we will have the name of the baby coming up shortly after these messages. I told you I was going to tell you guys the name last week, but that never actually happened. So I will reveal it today. I'll try to reveal it today if I remember, but there's a lot to get to. So we went to go see the band on Saturday. It was Led Zeppelin 2. And great band, but at the House of Blues, it was almost near full capacity. And being near full capacity, you know, things get tight, it gets hot. It's not my cup of tea. So we went there, we went to go eat first, and then we went to the Will Call and got our tickets to go see Led Zeppelin 2. Saved by one. Saved by one. Have you guys heard this song at all? She won't let me go. So Led Zeppelin, I will have some clips coming on the Led Zeppelin concert. I did record some of it for you. So hopefully you guys dig that. And I'll talk in shortly about some other concerts that I've seen. So did you guys see in the news that there was a GoFundMe page for Powerball reimbursement? You know, because Lotto was recent, and the Lotto winnings were, you know, somewhere near $1.5 billion. So, you know, 1.5 billion, 1.6 billion. And I have news here that Cinnamon Nicole alleges to have spent all of her money on Lotto tickets with the assumption she'd win the $1.6 billion jackpot, but is now asking for help. So, doing this GoFundMe thing, she raised a little more than $800 in 7 hours. If you have that much money, guys, please throw some to the show. I could hire some talent that way. Holy jeez. I'll take some. Maybe I should do a GoFundMe and get some talent. Despite the chances of anyone winning the jackpot being won in $292.2 million, how come all these jackpots are not $500 to $1.5 billion? Her family is now in dire need of cash. So there you go. If it's 1 in 292 million, even if you put down all the money you had, let's say it's $1,000, no guarantees on that, and now their family's hurting, may not be able to pay the rent, and then they'll have to go live with a family member if there's one available. It's bad times, guys. It is bad times. So I do have a little bit on some Lotto winnings, and I'll take you guys to this bit. Here we go. Here's a little bit on Lotto winners.
She wrote a book about it, in which she describes the bonus that comes with a Lotto jackpot that no one tells you about. Let's call it vultures.
I had people coming up to my job, sending fax, asking for money. My doorbell ring, and it's people I don't know. So I had gotten to the point where I was not opening up the door.
Winners of the lottery get out there and their names are released. It's literally the equivalent of throwing blood or chum in the water to a bunch of sharks, and everybody devours these folks.
Okay, so the sharks come out when you win. I'm glad I didn't win, guys, because it can get worse. It can get a lot worse. For instance, this item.
More convinced Shakespeare she could help him with what was left of his winnings. Shortly after Dee Dee arrived, Abe vanished.
Everybody in town seemed to think that, you know, he's come to a bad way, but nobody had any evidence.
The cops suspect Dee Dee.
Do you get tired of people asking you for money all the time, Abe?
They don't take no for answers.
So they don't take no for an answer. That guy ended up dead. I don't even think they found his body. And lastly, there's this famous story.
But there's still no body. Crucial to prove murder. That's exactly why, in another case in Chicago, authorities exhumed a man named Urush Khan.
We want to get to the bottom of it, you know. But the thing is, after he won the lottery, and the next day later he passes away, it's very awkward. It raises some eyebrows.
Sure enough, blood analysis revealed cyanide.
Okay, so for the Lotto, you got people calling you like vultures. You got one guy who ends up missing. His friend helps him out. She takes him out with another member. She's going to prison for a while. Then you got another guy, cyanide. The day he wins the Lotto, he tells his wife, she cyanides him. Where'd you get the cyanide so fast? I guess there's rat poison. Maybe that's cyanide as well. So she put it in his peanut butter or what have you. Now this guy's toast. So I'd rather not win the Lotto and just work carefully to earn my cash, you know, slowly, so no one really has it, knows that I have it. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, with the baby's name. Give it up to my timpani playing group. Jim, can you play it a little bit louder? Jim, can you go up? Give me a crash, Jim. Give me a crash. Jim, where's the crash? You're working up to it. Okay, that must be the other. You didn't give me a crash, Jim. The name is, the big reveal, it's Madeline. We named our baby Madeline. It's a played out name, but Mary wouldn't decide, so we just had to pick something. So there you go on that. And here's a little rock and roll for you. So if you guys notice that the price of oil has actually come down pretty substantially, and gasoline is, you know, in some places under $1. So, you know, supply is up, demand is low, and businesses are hurting. People are losing their jobs over this low price of oil. Here's a little bit on that.
According to new data, China is burning 17% more coal than their government had previously stated. And don't try to say it was an innocent mistake, China, because we know you did the math right.
Yes, because China always does the math. They always do the math correctly. So let's take you to the song here. Listen to this drum solo. Let me roll the timpani over it. Actually sounds pretty cool. So I also did see another show, and I'm going to try and find it for you guys. So we saw Jake Blues. Here was the band. And it was this Thursday at John's place in Griffith. So Thursday the 14th, Jake Blues live. This is the first time I was able to get him performing on tape. And then they had a killer sax man he was blowing. I wanted to get up in there and play, guys. I really did. I've been practicing my blues to get better. So, I have another news story here. Goldie Hawn shares the real reason she never married Kurt Russell. So it says, a lasting relationship isn't about marriage, it's about compatibility and communication. So that's Goldie Hawn's take on, being married for so long successfully. Okay, so it's about compatibility and communication, and you both need to want it to work, she says. Intention is the key. It is about not losing yourself in each other. And the key to everlasting love is to talk it out and agree to disagree. So I'm going to play you guys a little clip here of Kurt Russell in one of my favorite scenes. Here we go.
Howdy, stranger. What can I get you? I wouldn't mind one of those cigars. I'm about ready to go home. I wish y'all stopped yakking. Thank you. Kind of nice in here. There you go. You run it? Bill Joyce, owner, operator. Waiter. Yeah, sure.
He didn't believe him.
Jackass. I swear I will slap somebody now.
Billy Bob Thornton.
Excuse me for asking, nope, but kind of dead in here, isn't it?
You don't listen too good, do you?
See that bird at the faro table?
You back that queen again, you son of a bitch. I'll blow you right up that wildcat's ass. Do you hear me? Huh?
He comes barging in here one day, slapping all the customers, waving his gun around. Chase out all the high-class play. Only trade comes in and out is just the bummers and the drovers. Just the dregs. Why don't you get rid of him and get yourself a straight dealer? Sure, stranger. That's easy for you to say.
Shit.
Still calling him stranger. Doesn't believe it's White Earp.
Hey, goddamn it, Junior! How many times am I going to tell you to keep that damn cigar out of my face? Huh? Christ almighty, it's like I'm sitting here playing cards with my brother's kids or something. You nerve-wracking sons of bitches. Something on your mind?
He's staring at him.
Just want to let you know you're sitting in my chair.
Ooh.
Is that a fact?
Yeah, it's a fact.
Well, for a man that don't go healed, you run your mouth kind of reckless, don't you?
No need to go healed to get the bulge on a tub like you.
Is that a fact?
That's a fact. Well, I'm real scared.
He stands up.
Damn right you're scared. I can see that in your eyes.
All right,
Well, go ahead. Go ahead, skin it. Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens.
He's telling him to pull
listen,
his,
mister,
pull his
I'm
gun.
getting awful tired of your story.
I'm getting tired of your gas. Now jerk that pistol and go to work. I said throw down, boy.
Slapped him a couple times. Now he's bleeding.
You gonna do something or just stand there and bleed? No? I didn't think so. Here, Bill. Keep that.
So he took his gun,
Hang it over the bar. All right, youngster, out you go.
grabs him by his ear.
Don't come back. Ever.
Goes to the bartender.
Oh, what do you say, Milt? 25% of the house takes sound about right?
So he just got rid of him for 25%. And the rest of the story, Goldie Hawn says, he wakes up every morning like a child and is always happy, and he brings me my coffee and starts the day off perfectly. So here's a little bit of Goldie Hawn from another great movie, Death Becomes Her.
Put the body right here.
Oh, today really shaped up and hurting. Did you ever notice how some days can start out so shitty and then suddenly something wonderful happens and your whole outlook just suddenly changes?
That was totally uncalled for.
So she stands up out of the water. Great soundtrack, too.
Look at me, Ernest. Just look at me. I'm soaking wet.
Hey, there seems to be something wrong with your blouse.
Oh, I have a hole in my stomach. Oh, I have a hole in my stomach.
Yeah. And you're still alive.
It's another miracle!
Bruce Willis. And now we march. Roll that timpani. So coming up, I told you guys our famous interview with one Charlie Chaplin, and here it is. We have the clip.
How on earth do you manage to do it? That's a question that would fascinate all of us. Now, we know that your new film is done, as in that sense, almost a one-man job. Now, how does one go about it? I mean, it must be a tremendous, overwhelming task to carry the whole load.
Charlie? 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 And there it is, our famous interview with Charlie Chaplin. He didn't want to say anything in that clip. So, we have a bunch of things to play for you guys, and part of the show is pulling everything, so hopefully you guys like it. Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate you being here. And I told you guys last week we'd have our news segment be introed with these clips, and I have another one for you. Here goes.
It is news that will affect each and every one of you profoundly.
It's literally going to be on the front page of all the papers. You mean like newspapers? Like the kind that take pictures of moms and their kids?
Is it a quick story?
I have big news. You found the stray dog that gets into our freezer? It's all documents.
So there's our news block intro, and here's some news. How a single Facebook post landed a man in jail.
I wouldn't call myself a social butterfly.
So it says here in
and there's not
2013.
much that separates me from the other guy. But when I log in, I begin to live. There's an online world where I am king of a little website dedicated to me.
So in 2013, this ex-con posted a selfie on Facebook that showed him holding a .45 caliber pistol. I do have a clip of the .45 caliber pistol. Here it is. He pointed it at himself, and there it is. So it says it showed him holding a .45 caliber pistol and aiming the reflection of its laser sight at his own forehead. Of course, it's illegal for a convicted felon to carry a firearm, and this gentleman, Allah Farad, posted concrete evidence of himself and this crime on Facebook for all the world to see. Unfortunately for him, the FBI was investigating him for suspected illicit conduct at the time and digging through his social media. So guys, they are watching you. You know, you think you're unstoppable, you're gonna post a crazy picture. I mean, they knew his name, they knew his Facebook post, and here it is. This is the kicker, guys. In light of his criminal history, the judge presiding over the case sentenced him to an additional 68 months without the possibility of parole. 68 months, guys. 5 years and 8 months. So 5 years. It says from 5 years to life in prison at their discretion. They gave him an additional 60. It carried a minimum sentence of 10 years. And so he got 10 years and an additional 68 months. So it turns out 15 years and 8 months for posting a picture of him holding a gun. Why? Why did he do it? Why? I just want to shoot a gun in the sky right now. And don't yell at me, guys. I'm just shooting it off. So there we go. Be careful what you post, because they are out there. Even me doing this. I mean, they're, you know, I just shoot a gun in the studio here. And you know, they could suspend my broadcasting license. So lately, you know, at work, I've been working a little bit here on the show, and I have the flexibility of a job that offers creativity in what it is I do. So I spend a lot of time cataloging, documenting information, so I could find it easy next time. Contacting, you know, building a catalog of contacts. And I also work on the website. And for the website, the good thing about it is if you work on a website, whatever you develop, you can just apply it elsewhere. So let's say it's a pretty good code, it's a solid code, it works every time, it's PHP, it's HTML. You can be creative and apply it to different companies. You might be able to sell that. And I've seen companies sell web pages for anywhere from $40,000 to $70,000. 40 to 70. Oh, thank you guys so much again. Thank you. Hopefully this isn't the super long clapping audience. It might be. So yeah, some anywhere from $40,000 to $70,000 money you can make. Oh, thank you guys. Maybe that was the long clapping audience. You called it quits and hung up the phone. Now go love the one you choose. So last week we mentioned that David Bowie passed, and so if I'm happy, this one goes out to David Bowie. So going on to news, here's 20 secrets of couples who stay together. So let's see what those 20 secrets of couples who stay together is. It says, number one, never underestimate the value of asking your partner how his or her day went. So I could see where that'd be a good thing. It just seems a little bit monotonous, but so is marriage sometimes. Unless you keep it fresh, you got to change it up. You definitely have to change it up for sure. And number two, it says some fights are just fights. They don't have to be deal breakers. I think there's a lot of fights you just want it to be a deal breaker sometimes, but you just got to let it blow over. And I try not to partake in the fighting, but it's right there. It's ready for me to jump on if I want to. Number three, accept that relationships come with obligations. So you're going to be going to church. You're going to be going to the family's birthday parties, even if they're all on Christmas break or whatever it is. Here's a song for you guys. So it says, be honest about which events you feel strongly that your partner attend. That goes again with the obligations thing. And it says, little surprise purchases go a long way. If you're always thinking about your partner, they'll pay you for it with love and everything. Here's a funny one. Don't force group or double dates when couples aren't friends. So I do have a little bit on that. So here we go.
Hey guys, Andy's shaking up some boggle. You in?
Go, Barb!
So he tells her to go home, and then that was her husband. Here's another one.
So Ken got tickets to the Clippers game Saturday.
I'm gonna stop you right there, Andy. I'm really flattered, but I got a full roster of friends right now.
Ken's just kidding. He loves.
Okay, so I have a couple clips of couples trying to get their husbands, the wife's trying to get their husbands to hang out. Here we go.
Hey, things sound a little dicey. I mean, if you want to talk about it over a beer with Andy, I know he'd love to just.
No, I wouldn't.
Hey guys, Andy's shaking up some boggle. You in?
Go, Barb!
So he tells her to go home. Here we go.
So Ken got tickets to the Clippers game Saturday.
I'm gonna stop you right there, Andy. I'm really flattered, but I got a full roster of friends right now.
Ken's just kidding. He'd love to go to the game with you.
Oh, well, now that I'm aware of my condition, I can really feel it when you overstep.
Hey, things sound
Here's
a
the third
little
one.
dicey. I mean, if you want to talk about it over a beer with Andy, I know he'd love to just.
No, I wouldn't.
So there's a good lesson there. It's a two-way street. Ken didn't want to do it, so then Andy didn't want to do it. But they were open in the beginning, except Ken wasn't. So it'll come back to bite you. It's a two-way road, guys. Kiss hello and kiss goodbye. Sometimes you have to say no to invitations so you can spend time with each other. Mary and I went on the date to Led Zeppelin and Home Run Inn in Chicago. Treat his or her family like yours. More I love yous are better than fewer. Be sympathetic when your other is sick. When your significant other is sick, take on more errands when they are swamped at work. Don't make jokes at the other person's expense. That's a hard one, guys, because you always want. Everyone thinks they're so funny. It says be on time. That's a big one. If someone talks about your husband, defend him. Keep each other informed of your individual plans. That one's hard to do too, because time moves so quickly and things change from second to second that it's always hard to keep people informed. It really is a tough one, guys. Next one is respond to each other's texts and calls. That's hard because time moves so quickly. Choose not to fight when you travel. Be spontaneous and love each other conditionally. So, love each other unconditionally, and those are all tough ones to pull off. Very tough to pull off. So I did find that there is. I was looking through some past history and looking for. People who had passed and stuff like that. I don't like to spend the show on people who passed because it's kind of a bummer. But I did find this bit of what sounds like, and I'll let you guys hear it first before I make my conclusions.
Actually, these martinis that I drink are particularly wonderful because there's a very attractive young lady here in the studio that dips her little finger in it each time. Too bad she doesn't trim her nails. Now then, I am going to give you a cue.
Now this is a gentleman doing an impression, and I want you guys to...
That chap on the camera has the manliest muscle I've ever seen in his leg.
Manliest muscles. Here's who I think it sounds like, and this is from a famous movie you guys might know.
Mr. Lumberg told me to talk to payroll, and then payroll told me to talk to Mr. Lumberg, and I still haven't received my paycheck, and he took my stapler, and he never brought it back, and then they moved my desk to storage room B, and there was garbage on it, and I don't appreciate it.
Why don't you go back down and sit at your desk? Mr. Lumberg should be...
So she's even
Mr. Lumberg.
annoyed
Just
to
go
talk
sit
to
at your
Milton.
desk,
But,
okay?
Okay, I'm going to just...
It's so sad. It's so sad when she can't relate, so she tells him goodbye. You guys remember this tune?
It's The Mix, 93.2. Hello, America.
So I do have some news, and here it is. It says, Power Rangers actor faces life in prison over 2015 murder. Ricardo Medina was picked up today by the LA Sheriff's Department for killing of his then roommate. His roommate was Josh Sutter. If convicted on the one count, he could face from 26 years to life in prison for the death of Sutter on January 31st, 2015. I want to know what they were arguing about. Okay, this is definitely not the theme I'm used to, but who cares? It shows here, Medina played Cole Evans, a.k.a. the Red Wild Force Ranger in 2002 Power Rangers Wild Force series. This actually sounds like Megadeth, and it might just be. I could have sworn the guitar player was Buckethead, but maybe I'm wrong on that. So there we go on that. So can you believe the guy ended up killing his roommate? Like, you know, things are rough with the roommates, you know. In other sad news, we have this one. So you can hear Mary and I in the background there, and watching Travis Tritt was awesome. But in sad news, I was just watching the news today. It shows Glen Frye of the Eagles has passed. I think he was 69. He might actually have been the singer of this tune, and this is actually Travis Tritt's version of "Take It Easy" by the Eagles. So let's listen a little bit. And you can only hear this here because because I record this type of stuff. If you guys like Travis Tritt, here he is. So last week I was going to play you this bit, and I'll play it to you now. Here it is. It is Franklin Roosevelt. He gave this famous speech, and I'll play it for you. It's about the 4 freedoms.
In these future days, if we seek to make it sure, we look forward to a world founded upon 4 essential human freedoms. The first is freedom of speech and expression everywhere in the world. The second is freedom of every person to worship God in his own way everywhere in the world. The third is freedom from want, which translated into world terms means economic understanding, which will secure to every nation a healthy, peacetime life for its inhabitants everywhere in the world. The fourth is freedom from fear, which translated into world terms means a worldwide reduction of armament to such a point and in such a thorough fashion that no nation will be in a position to commit an act of physical aggression against any neighbor anywhere in the world.
Listen to that applause.
That is no vision of a distant millennium. It is a definite basis for a kind of world attainable in our own time and generation. That kind of world is the very antithesis of the so-called new order of tyranny, which the dictators seek to create with a crash of a bomb.
So this one goes out to you, Glenn. You rocked, man. Rocked as hard as it could go. You guys were #1. Were and are, and rock and roll, man. Like, you could go through the hits. This dude just had. I mean, they were rolling in cash. So I also had this song.
Say you want to help our community.
And here's the news article. Monsanto lab on lockdown after scientists find shattered tomato containment unit. Monsanto reportedly placed the agrochemical company's main laboratory on lockdown after discovering a shattered, empty containment unit. The room's armed guards lying dead on the floor to what next remained of a specimen 323A's 6-inch thick tempered glass container, which seems to have been ruptured from the inside. Officials would not confirm how many employees had been killed, but acknowledged the released tomato variety remained at large within the sprawling crop development facility. We have suffered a Code 9 containment breach on the tomato containment. And let me continue on. This is our worst nightmare, Klein said, who, is one of the company's reps. There's a centralized systems of surveillance that closely monitors the company's fruits, vegetables, grains, and other specimens through a stage of their creation and growth. The rogue produce has found its way into the facility's germination module, according to reports where it is believed to have consumed dozens of experimental fertilizers and a generous supply of mulch, possibly attempting to increase its size, strength, and shelf life. Guys, we have a tomato on the loose. Klein said, "We're running out of time," solemnly noting that if necessary, his entire team was prepared to stay in the underground laboratory and make the ultimate sacrifice should their containment efforts fail. Once emergency protocols are activated, a 6-hour countdown begins, at the end of which thermonuclear charges will vaporize the facility and everything within a 15-mile radius. It'll kill us all, he said, but we'd rather die than let that thing get to the surface. May God have mercy on our souls if this thing pollinates. So here's our song to you, Monsanto. Go away. Please go away. So our show, I try to keep it light and airy, and I want to play you guys a bit of when things get a little hairy on the air.
You know what? Let's talk about race. No, it's a little too serious for the Gus light, as far as I'm concerned. Oh, okay, so you don't want me to be serious. You just want me to be joking around, be the clown. The Chinese guys on TV, make everybody laugh.
Let's go to commercial.
So did you guys see that Walmart pulls the plug on a small store format? As recently as 2014, Walmart was touting the success of its Walmart Express stores, but the markets have been resistant to the retailer's normally huge outlets, and so they're not going, and I guess they're pulling the plug on that. So here's our little bit on Walmart. Guys ever heard a baby snore? Here it is. So there's little Poogie Susie snoring away there. So speaking of babies, here's a bit on what kids are listening now in the womb.
This carol is included in a very special concert by Soraya to welcome Christmas that a group of mothers and their future babies were able to attend. The unborn babies were in the crowd thanks to BabyPod, a revolutionary device designed to broadcast music inside the vagina. BabyPod is safe and easy to use. It is placed like a tampon and connects to the smartphone. It is a revolution in gynecology. This is the first concert for fetuses ever made in the world.
It's like Vulvapalooza going on there.
Vulvapalooza.
Carrots wear green furry hats. We look like tiny baseball bats. Listen to these important stats. 32 calories and 0 fats. Now here's some fun facts.
So did you guys see that at the U.S. border, agents bust 2,400, almost 2,500 pounds of weed when hidden in a Mexican carrot shipment? Carrots are powerful. So you got to see this picture to understand what they did. But basically, they'd have regular carrots, and then underneath they'd have bags of things that look like carrots. It'd just be like eighth bag or quarter bags rolled up real tight with orange tape. And then, a green ribbon at the top to make it look literally like a carrot. The orange matched, everything matched. But when they dug their hands in, they dug their hands in at the border, and they realized that these carrots weren't carrots at all, but rather stashed weed. And if you go through the border, they're gonna. A lot of times they just stop you. They probably stop every 5th car. So if you'll get busted. So here's the thing. It was discovered during a search at the Far International Bridge cargo facility located near the U.S. border and Mexico in southeastern Texas, around 250 miles south of San Antonio. And when the driver was caught, here's what he said. You ready?
No tengo dinero ni nada que dar. Lo único que tengo es amor para amar. Si así tú me quieres, te puedo querer. Pero si no puedes, ni modo que hacer. No tengo dinero ni nada que dar. Lo único que tengo es amor para amar. Si así tú me quieres, te puedo no puedes ni modo que hacer.
So I can't believe when the guards heard that. Did I mention that this is a little bit of Mary's song on the on that night when we went to go to the Led Zeppelin show?
My girlfriends, margaritas at the Holiday Inn.
Wish I had this voice.
Oh, have mercy, my only thought was tequila makes her clothes fall off. I told her put.
So, did you guys know I made a video game song once? Here it is. Here's my song. It was kind of like a fighting game. And then I do the arpeggios. I'll take you to it. That was my video game sound, so I'll take you back to the pod. Here we go. So in music history and in news and history, here it is. On 1/11 in 1927, Charlie Chaplin's assets were frozen, and we do have that interview with Charlie Chaplin. There you go.
How on earth do you manage to do it? That's a question that would fascinate all of us. Now, we know that your new film is done, as in that sense, almost a one-man.
Charlie, how did you manage to do it? Charlie? Charlie, are you there? Charlie? He would not say anything, guys. So on 1/12 in 1926, the original Amos and Andy debuts on Chicago radio, and this is what you might have heard back in 1926, guys. Can you believe they have some of it? This was their pilot episode.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Amos. I just want to tell you about something that happened to my friends Andy and the Kingfish. Andy found a nickel in an old trunk. It was dated 1877. So Andy wrote a letter to Mr. Wilton, a rare coin dealer, and right now Mr. Wilton is answering Andy's letter.
So this is what it would sound like.
Care of the Mystic Knights of the Sea Lodge Hall. Dear Mr. Brown, in reply to your recent letter requesting the value of an 1877 5-cent piece, the current market of this coin is $250. If you care to bring the coin in, we will be happy to pay you this amount. I hope our offer meets with your approval. Yours very truly.
Is that all, Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
So this show in 1981 premieres on ABC Dynasty. Bruce Willis. And we're going to get to Bruce Willis coming up here too, but let's hear a little bit of the Dynasty theme. Dynasty had to be about rich people, guys. I don't know what the deal was. Shows here in 113, the Golden Globes were curtailed due to a writer's strike. Have a little bit of a clip of Jim Carrey on the Golden Globes. Here it is.
Thank you. I am two-time Golden Globe winner Jim Carrey. You know, when I go to sleep at night, I'm not just a guy going to sleep. I'm two-time Golden Globe winner Jim Carrey going to get some well-needed shut-eye. And when I dream, I don't just dream any old dream. No, sir. I dream about being three-time Golden Globe winning actor Jim Carrey. Because then I would be enough.
Shows this song on 1/14, 1970. Diana Ross and the Supremes performed their final concert. That was in 1970. They performed their final concert. And you know what I was thinking?
Someday we'll be together.
Also shows this. 1954, Marilyn Monroe marries Joe DiMaggio. I thought that was interesting. And so I play a little bit of We Didn't Start the Fire. And I found this remake, shows in 1972. This song, American Pie, was #1 on the pop charts. You can understand why, because listen to the pop. 1, 2, 3. 1938, on the 16th, Benny Goodman brings jazz to Carnegie Hall. Boy, Carnegie Hall was huge. 1919, on the 16th, Prohibition takes effect, and drinking went underground. And sometimes when I drink, I like to fire a gun off. Here we go. Woo! And 1945, Hitler went to his bunker. And in 1966, green-lighted this TV show. Here we go. It was the Monkees. 1966, NBC green-lighted the Monkees. And then, you know, they went on to the Brady Bunch and that type of thing. So coming to the end of our show, that was This Week in History. And I leave you guys with a little bit. Let me look through this stuff here. A little bit of some of my favorite music. A little bit of a good movie here.
I feel you. I was half convinced I'd wait.
So it is, you know, with my greatest sympathies, we mention Glen Frye from the Eagles passing. And also this week, it was probably Sunday, Alan Rickman died. It was last week. It was, you know, Thursday or Friday, but since I do the show Saturday, Sunday, you know, that's that. So here's a little bit to Alan Rickman. There's to Alan Rickman, and we play this. You know Alan Rickman from Die Hard. Much better theme for Die Hard if they would have went with this. No, but it's definitely good because it's, you know, it's kind of like Christmas music, marchy, and that type of thing. And if you guys didn't know, Alan Rickman was Hans. So I'm going to play you guys a little clip of Hans. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. What was it you said to me before? Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
So he's just laughing. They didn't realize Bruce Willis has a gun. So he pulled the gun, shot Hans, obviously.
Happy trails, Hans.
And there goes Hans, sort of hanging there out the window. So we got a chance to speak with Hans. And about that actual fall, and here's what he said.
Just remember that, again, with the benefit of hindsight, I looked at the faces of some slightly incredulous producers when I said that I would do it myself. And it was being dropped from about 40 feet, as I recall. And of course, because this was in the days of, there wasn't any CGI. So it was, let's drop the actor. I hope that he doesn't spin around in the middle of the fall and land on his head and kill himself. They were very careful to make it my very last shot on the film.
So you know that Alan Rickman was also in Sweeney Todd. We have a little bit of him on how he felt about singing with Johnny Depp.
Well, I loved doing that because, you know, it's like, there's Everest, climb it.
He's talking about singing.
I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to do it, and I suppose I was old enough and wise enough to know that there was this moment in a rehearsal room in the film studios when I had learned the song, and there was just me and a pianist, and the door opened and in walked Stephen Sondheim with the words, "Okay, let's hear it." So I guess, you know, years ago, that would have been a recipe for complete disaster and nothing would have come out of my throat. But I guess I'm old enough and wise enough to know, well, what's he going to do, fire me? And probably be a good idea if I can't sing it, then fine, and get somebody else. But I mean, I got through it and he said it was all right. And what was wonderful was that he wasn't precious about his own music. His main comment was to be much more casual with it and much more throwaway and don't be so religious about it.
And we also spoke with him about how he felt about Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp is fantastic to work with, but of course course, we didn't record it together.
They were separate.
Because you've got to have it on separate tracks so they can play with it, and we mimed it together many times. And the wisest thing I did was to say, please will you ask him to record his part first, so that I knew how I was going to match his voice, because of course he had the melody and I was underneath it, so at least I knew what the finished Johnny Depp part of it was.
And that sums up our interview with Alan Rickman, so I leave you guys with this.
Remember when we first met John McClane? Argyle picked him up from the plane and took him down the Nakatomi Tower.
So we appreciate you guys for listening. Hopefully you found it interesting. It is January 18th, 2016, and time keeps rolling on, so let's take you to the outro. Let's shoot off some guns first. Die hard. Die hard. So hope you guys dug the show. Thank you so much for listening. It's January 18th, 2016, and time keeps rolling on, and I'm going to leave you guys with the show outro. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it, and have a great week, everybody.
Are people laughing with me or at me?
At you. That's what I was saying.
You can't do it.
You're not a moron. You're not a moron. You're not a moron. No.
Wow! Is it too soon to suggest a horse mural in every room? Yes.
You can massage our shoulders, polish our gold, lie to our wives, and romance second-tier groupies not hot enough for us.
Take care, everybody.